Hello, everyone. I'm Professor Robert Romano, and this is the Economics of Sports. All right, we're going to begin this summer talking about the differences between the open and closed systems in sports. All right, we're talking about the sports business side of things. All right, so let's just think about this. Competition, what is it? Right? It's the fight to win, right? Competition, we want to win. But how is this different in the sports industry? It's different in the sports industry because it's twofold, right? There are two forms of competition. There is the on-field competition, the sporting competition, what happens on the court, the pitch, the grass, whatever it is, right? There's that competition. And then there's also the economic competition, right? The economic competition within a league, between leagues, all that kind of stuff. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about more in this class, all right? So let's do a little tracing history a little bit. The first professional sports leagues, when we're discussing the open and closed system, the first professional sports league in the United States was the National Association of Professional Baseball Clubs. All right, the National Association of Professional Baseball Clubs. It organized around 1876, so it's about 150 years old. The league was made up of various franchises, right? Different sports franchises, different teams within that league, and each franchise owned an equal share in the league. So if I think there was 8 teams at the time, they owned an equal portion of that league. Okay, so collectively, the franchises were in control of the league, right? They owned the portion of it. They controlled it. They controlled it to the portion of what they owned. In Europe, however, things were a little bit different, right? The football league was one of the original leagues in Europe, within Europe. Came about around 1888, a little bit after the National League, similar to the U.S. format. Right, so to start off with, very similar to the U.S. format. But the system expanded aggressively, right? Admitted more teams in and expanded more aggressively than what we did here in the United States. So they started with 12 teams, within 25, 30 years later, they had 76 teams. So how do you manage that? Right? In the United States, we didn't have that problem. We had 8 baseball teams. There was kind of, maybe went up to 10, maybe went up to 12, came back down to 10, that kind of thing. But in Europe, it expanded within, 30-something years, 35 years to 76 teams. So to manage this, they created a hierarchy of divisions, right? We all know this, right? There's a hierarchy of divisions. You think in England, the Premier League, there's top league, the Champions League, and so forth, right? And within this hierarchy of divisions, they included what we don't have here in the United States, a system of promotion and relegation, right? So you can move up and down through the various hierarchy of divisions. So the European sports model includes this concept of promotion and relegation, where clubs move up or down from one tier to another tier, year to year, depending on their win-loss record. And we know this, right? We're getting more and more familiar with the European system over the past 10, 15 years because of the growth of international soccer. All right, the European sports model, therefore, is an open system, right? If we're looking at closed versus open, the European model is an open system, right? Individual clubs organized comprehensively from the grassroots to the top professional tier in a pyramid structure, and they can move up and down in status based on the merits at the end of the season, right? So they're an open system, open to the fact that you can move up and down, right? They have this promotion and relegation system. This is the first part of the open system, right? The process of promotion and relegation. All right, it's a pyramid structure based on a club system. Club system is built around these federations, or national federations or international federations, depending on the sport itself, right? There's a federation for each sport. Now we think about this, federations for each sport, we know of a few of them already, right? FIFA, that's the big one. FIBA for basketball. So each sport has an international or a national federation that basically is the organizing body based within this club system, pyramid club system. So some other international federations, they've been around for a long time. The Amateur Swimming Association since 1869, rugby from 1871, badminton 1893, and even the International Esports Federation came about in 2008. Okay, that may be a question I ask on the quiz. All right, the quiz at the end of the week. Name 4 international federations. Something like that. All right, so this system, this European system, this open system, in theory, functions to equitably distribute the revenue among the sports clubs. Okay, so you have this pyramid structure. So all the money comes into the top, right? Into that, and then it's supposed to trickle down among the various sports clubs. And this is to encourage mass participation. So you think about it. There's the club system of soccer, right? All that money comes in, the club itself redistributes it back down. The internet. Think about it from a FIFA perspective, right? FIFA, the big World Cup, they make a lot of money. That money comes into FIFA, and then they distribute the money back down into the clubs, right? And this is to encourage people to participate. This is how you grow the sport, right? And it's also used to promote competitive balance, right? You want to share the money equally to promote this competitive balance amongst teams. The problem sometimes with this is that the equitable distribution is discretionary by the FIFA and by the national federations, and sometimes the money gets mishandled. There's the big FIFA scandal about 10 years ago, or the national federations don't send the money down to the grassroots to help build. Or if they do, they only send it to the men's side and not the women's side. All right, so in function, is supposed to take the money. All the money is supposed to come in and through the pyramid system and trickle down. But there is some discretionary funding policies out there that maybe don't make it as equitable as it should be. All right, so we aren't wrong again. So the first part of the European system is the pyramid structure based on a club system. Second part we talked about is a promotion and relegation, where bottom six tiers may advance upwards, and the worst teams advance downwards. Okay? So each system at the end of the year, each level at the end of the year, each tier at the end of the year, the bottom three teams move down, and the next level, the top three teams move up. We all know this. Why? But why? Why do they have this promotion and relegation system? And does it work? And could it work here in the United States? I don't know. Well, the reason it's there is to reward merit, right? To promote equality and opportunity, and to enhance competition. Right? These are kind of the reasons why this promotion relegation system is. And also to relegate questionable practices. So in the book, if you read chapter 1, it'll have at the end of the chapter, promotion and relegation advocates say it adds excitement for the fans, right? Because even if you're not having a good season, you're down in the bottom three, you're fighting to get to that fourth so you don't get relegated down. And the same thing at the next level, the champions level, right? You're fighting to get up to the top. So this adds added excitement for the fans. It's free and open entry, right? This means that you can move up and down. This is if you can use your skills as a sports business person to build a team and move up. Okay. And their argument is that it involves inclusiveness, right? You want to include as many teams as possible, right? We're open. We want to be inclusive. We want to have as many teams participate in our sport as possible. Critics say it promotes financial instability because if you get relegated down, you're losing a lot of money. But if you're also getting promoted up, you don't have the finances that a Real Madrid would have, or a Barca would have, or a Man United or Man City. You don't have those same financial. So there's some financial instability, getting promoted up and getting relegated down. And it also could, if you're fearful. If you feel you're going to get relegated down, you may underinvest in your franchise, right? You may feel, you may just, we're getting relegated down. We're going to lose a lot of money. We need to get rid of some contracts. We need to think about a different facility, those kind of things. Okay? So, if I'm going to ask you on the quiz, the two distinct characteristics of the European system is, it is open, it is based on a club system. Okay, and it involves promotion and relegation. Okay, the U.S. system, totally different. There's little agreement on how we define the U.S. sports model. It's basically what the European sports model is not, but it does have 4 defining characteristics. And I'll ask you this on the quiz. Give me the 4 defining characteristics of the U.S. sports model. The first one is that we're closed. We're a closed system. Europe is an open system. The United States is a closed system. Right? In our major sports properties, we have 30, 32 teams, and that's it. No other team can join. You and I can't start a team and join the NFL. It's not going to happen. It's closed. They have to vote. There's certain rules and regulations on how we get into the major sports properties. Therefore, it's closed. The league defines which teams are to be included, but once included, this is the interesting thing. There's a little fear of being expelled, getting kicked out. You're not going to get relegated down, all right? Because there's nowhere to relegate you down to. So the first characteristic is a closed system. They feel it's inclusive. There is a substantial fee, though, to get into one of the major sports properties. And some critics say, it's a cartel. Once you're in, you're in. And they dictate the rules and policies and procedures once you're in. Other critics say it is socialism at its best, right? You're a closed system. You're not allowing competition, right? Which is the American way, where we're capitalists, but it's closed. So, and then the money is evenly distributed. So that's the first characteristic. The second characteristic is we're highly commercialized, right? We're not based on promotion and relegation. We're based on commercial reasons, right? Money, TV revenue, merchandise, ticketing, all that stuff that is going to generate capital. All right. So we're based on a commercialized model, not based on a promotion and relegation model. The third characteristic, we're going to talk about this a little bit more in the next class, in the next module, is in the United States, we have various labor market restraints. And three of the big ones are free agency, rookie draft, salary caps. These aren't heard of to the same extent in the European model. Right, so we have labor market restraints, free agency, rookie draft, salary caps. And again, we're going to go over those in the second model more definitively. And the fourth characteristic is that there's a sharp distinction between professional and amateur sports here in the United States. Right, professional sports, they set up their rules, they have their bylaws, their constitutions, and they follow those. All right, and then they collectively bargain with the players. As for amateur sports, the definition of what an amateur is defined by the governing body, right? Either that governing body could be the federal government, the community leagues, boards, the Amateur Sports Act, the IOC, the Olympics, or the NCAA. Each one of them has a different definition of what the concept of amateurism is, okay? So that's our little brief overview of the PowerPoint. Any questions, please text me, email me, hit me up on Instagram, or however you want to do it. I may have an answer for you, but I'll get back to you. This is the first video. I'm going to post the second video in the second module, and we'll continue on from there. If you want, you will hold your questions to the live session on Friday. We can do that too. All right, but don't hesitate. If you want to contact me, if you have questions, please do. All right, thank you. Again, Professor Robert Romano, that's me. That's all my information. If you need to contact me or text me, my mobile, 203-777-9797, or my email, romanor@stjohns.edu. Thank you, everybody. Take care.